We live in a time where comfort is praised more than character, when image matters more than truth. Many people chase things that shine, hoping they will bring meaning, but deep down, something feels missing. That emptiness is not accidental. It comes from forgetting who we are and why we are here. There is an old spiritual truth that says gaining the whole world means nothing if the soul is lost. Whether someone is religious or not, the message still stands. Life moves fast. One moment we're here, and in a blink, we are gone. Everything physical fades, but what we carry inside lasts far longer. Material success has been sold as proof of worth. The more you own, the more valuable you are told you must be. But this belief quietly replaces wisdom with status and purpose with applause. Over time, people begin chasing approval instead of truth. We were not taught to see ourselves as powerful from within. Instead, we were trained to measure ourselves by outside standards: beauty, money, titles, and recognition. That training did not happen by accident. It was learned, repeated, and passed down. At the same time, many are starting to feel a spiritual discomfort, a sense that something ancient and important has been forgotten, a feeling that beneath all the noise, distraction, and pressure to perform, there is a deeper identity trying to wake up. There's a reason people across cultures talk about being asleep or awake. It is not about being better than others. It's about awareness. Awareness of how systems shape behavior. Awareness of how values get replaced. Awareness of how people slowly trade meaning for comfort. Materialism works best when it convinces people that worth comes from the outside. It trains the mind to chase symbols instead of substance. Over time, people stop asking who they are and start asking what they can get. That trade may feel rewarding at first, but it empties the spirit. We are taught to admire copies instead of the originals. Over generations, the original blueprint gets blurred, like a photocopy made again and again. Details fade. Clarity weakens. Identity becomes distorted. Eventually, people no longer recognize the source of their own power. There is a deep symbolism in nature that reflects forgotten truths. The human body itself carries meaning. Hair, skin, and form are not random. They reflect adaptation, connection, and energy. Across ancient cultures, hair was seen as an extension of awareness, something alive, expressive, and symbolic, not something to be ashamed of or corrected. When people are taught to reject their natural features, it does more than change appearance. It reshapes self-perception. It quietly tells them they must alter themselves to be accepted. That message, repeated long enough, becomes internalized. Royalty was never just about crowns or bloodlines. It was about responsibility, order, and alignment with higher principles. Calling oneself a king or a queen means nothing if the mindset is still shaped by imitation and dependence. True royalty begins with self-knowledge. One of the greatest losses of modern times is the belief that freedom comes from approval. Awards, titles, and recognition have been turned into tools of validation. People are trained to chase them as proof of value, but when approval can be taken away for speaking honestly, its true nature is revealed. Real independence begins when a person no longer needs permission to speak truth. When recognition loses its power to control behavior, clarity returns. History shows that systems often reward silence and punish honesty, especially when truth threatens comfort. Many people sense this contradiction. They see injustice rewarded and integrity ignored. They notice that those who speak plainly are often pushed aside, while those who play along are lifted up. This creates confusion, frustration, and moral fatigue. At the same time, people are divided against each other, encouraged to argue while deeper structures remain untouched. Distraction keeps attention away from unity. Anger is redirected sideways instead of upward. This keeps people busy but not free. Across the world, signs of awakening appear in cycles. Moments where people begin asking deeper questions. Moments where illusions crack, but awakening is uncomfortable. It requires letting go of false rewards and facing hard truths. There is also grief in realizing how much time was spent chasing the wrong things. That grief can turn into anger or despair if not guided wisely. But it can also become fuel for growth and realignment. True awakening is not loud. It's steady. It does not beg for approval. It builds quietly. It values self-respect over applause. It understands that systems rise and fall, but inner grounding lasts. History shows that transformation often comes after long pressure. Stories of liberation, escape, and crossing through hardship exist in many traditions. They all point to the same lesson. Freedom requires movement, courage, and faith. The hope is not in perfection, but in direction. The hope is that people begin choosing substance over symbols, truth over trends, and purpose over performance. When enough individuals do this, culture shifts naturally. This moment feels heavy because it is revealing. It exposes illusions. It forces choices. It asks whether comfort is worth the cost of conscience, and whether remembering who we are is worth the discomfort of change. We are only here for a short time. That truth alone should sharpen our focus. What matters most is not what we collect, but what we become. Material things can be useful, but they should never define identity. When they do, people forget their depth, their history, and their inner authority. There is nothing wrong with success, but there is danger in worshiping it, especially when success demands silence, imitation, and self-erasure. A real awakening begins within. It starts with honest reflection and the courage to question inherited beliefs. It grows through discipline, awareness, and self-respect. The path forward is not about chasing approval. It's about restoring memory, meaning, and purpose, and refusing to trade the soul for comfort ever again. And brothers and sisters, that's the path that I'm on, even more so than yesterday, more so than last week, last month, and last year. It's a different time for me, and I'm learning so much about myself. And I'm learning so much about what I'm about to become. And time is not here to waste. I just wanted to say those few words. I hope you got something from it. We have another show coming up with Brother Malik Aziz on the Muslim Street. It's going to be fire. By the time you hear this, that show probably would be over. But check it out on the playlist, LANCESCURVX.com. Sign in with your email so you never ever miss the post. And there'll be posts that are going to be on LANCESCURVX that won't be anywhere else. So you have to sign up there to get everything. Anyway, the work continues. We're grinding hard and enjoying it because this is what we do. This is what we're built to do. We're built for this. And on to the next one. I love you all. Thank you for being here. LANCESCURV out. Peace.